The book of Genesis is the first book of the Bible and lays the foundation for the entire biblical narrative. It is traditionally attributed to Moses and is divided into two main sections: primeval history, chapters 1 to 11, and patriarchal history, chapters 12 to 50. Here's a breakdown. 1. Primeval history, Genesis 1 to 11. This section explains the origins of the world, humanity, sin, and God's early interactions with mankind. Creation, Genesis 1 to 2. Genesis 1. God creates the universe in 6 days and rests on the seventh. Genesis 2. A more detailed account of the creation of Adam and even the Garden of Eden. The fall and its consequences, Genesis 3 to 5. Genesis 3. Adam and Eve disobey God, the fall, leading to sin and separation from God. Genesis 4. Cain and Abel's story. Cain kills his brother out of jealousy. Genesis 5. Genealogy from Adam to Noah. The flood and God's covenant with Noah, Genesis 6 to 9. Genesis 6 to 8. Humanity becomes wicked. God sends a flood but saves Noah and his family. Genesis 9. God establishes a covenant with Noah, signified by the rainbow. The Tower of Babel, Genesis 10 to 11. Genesis 10. The Table of Nations, descendants of Noah. Genesis 11. Humanity's pride leads to the Tower of Babel. God confuses their languages and scatters them. 2. Patriarchal history, Genesis 12 to 50. This section introduces the patriarchs, Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, and Joseph, through whom God establishes his covenant people. Abraham's story, Genesis 12 to 25. Genesis 12, God calls Abram, later Abraham, and promises to make him a great nation. Genesis 15, God makes a covenant with Abraham. Genesis 16, birth of Ishmael through Hagar. Genesis 17, circumcision as a sign of God's covenant. Abram and Sarai renamed Abraham and Sarah. Genesis 18 to 19, destruction of Sodom and Gomorrah. Genesis 21, birth of Isaac. Genesis 22, Abraham's test, offering Isaac as a sacrifice. Genesis 25, Abraham dies. Isaac's sons, Esau and Jacob, are introduced. Jacob's story, Genesis 25 to 36. Genesis 27, Jacob deceives Isaac to receive Esau's blessing. Genesis 28, Jacob's dream of a ladder to heaven. Genesis 29 to 30, Jacob marries Leah and Rachel. Births of the 12 tribes of Israel. Genesis 32, Jacob wrestles with an angel and is renamed Israel. Joseph's story, Genesis 37 to 50. Genesis 37, Joseph is sold into slavery by his brothers. Genesis 39, Joseph in Potiphar's house, falsely accused and imprisoned. Genesis 41, Joseph interprets Pharaoh's dreams and becomes second in command in Egypt. Genesis 42 to 45, Joseph reunites with his brothers and forgives them. Genesis 46 to 50, Jacob and his family settle in Egypt. Jacob and Joseph die. Key themes of Genesis. 1. God as creator. 2. The fall and sin. 3. Covenants. 4. Faith and obedience. 5. God's sovereignty.